Buy on the rumor, sell on the news. Markets have been waiting for this money for the last 6 months. I don't really get why the new strain was detected on December 14th, while they closed the borders and imposed stringent quarantine measures only on the 20th. And the only argument that could trigger a Bitcoin drop. Welcome to the Coin Post. COVID-19, which was almost discarded, has once again shown itself with an even more contagious strain. And the market didn't take long to react. It's falling, borders are closing, and the question is, will the vaccine help the new version of the virus? So we're making predictions again, by reviewing the latest financial news and making plans for the near future. But we make these videos thanks to your support, so let's try to get at least 100 likes today. Today we're gonna talk about 3 important issues. Can markets expect new money from the US? And will it help? How the new version of COVID-19 has affected markets? And which predictions we need to revise? And finally, will Bitcoin go into correction? Make sure no one distracts you. And let's get started. If you still believe in the Santa Claus rally on the stock market, today we may give up that expectation. After the news about the new strain of COVID-19, futures on the S&P 500 index collapsed 107 points. Then everyone seemed to calm down a bit and started buying again, but still, the signal is very alarming, especially considering that the market was on the country getting ready to keep rising after an agreement in the US Congress on a $900 billion relief package. The news is very bullish for the stock market, but it's worth emphasizing 2 things. First, it's easy to promise something, but they still need to vote for this relief package, and the political standoff in the US hasn't gone away. Trump continues to insist on the election fraud and calls on the Republican Party to block the acceptance of the results. My understanding is that there is a risk that when we agree on the package, everything may end and we will have to wait and believe again. Secondly, let's not forget about the good old rule. Buy on the rumor, sell on the news. Markets have been waiting for this money for the last 6 months, and it's reasonable to assume that this event was already included in the price of S&P 500. Since the end of October, the index has increased 15%, just when we were promised a second relief package again immediately after the elections. Thus, we shouldn't rule out the risk that when we finally get the money, we'll get the opposite effect on markets than we expect. I already mentioned that futures fell on the S&P 500, and now let's look at the other markets. Gold decided to regain its former position and immediately rose above $1,900. But then, someone clearly decided to take the profits and it just dropped $50. As a result, investors in gold are confused and don't know whether to expect gold to rise or it was just a fuss. The situation with oil is pretty clear. The Brent price dropped almost 4%, and now everyone is waiting for the news about the new strain of coronavirus. If things get bad again, we could go back first to $49, then $47, and then $43, aka to the price of the fall. The chances of a total collapse are now slim, as the oil production is reduced and the markets can be supported by something like "we are ready to cut back production again." But it will depend on the spread of the new coronavirus strain. The dollar index behavior also makes sense. I mean, as soon as the crisis appeared on the horizon, everyone decided to buy bucks at once. Meanwhile, the euro and the British pound are falling. I don't mean to scare everyone right now, but it's best to prepare for the worst. Let me explain. When the news about coronavirus in China was just beginning to spread, I did not consider it a threat because I drew on the experience of the previous outbreak of another coronavirus known as SARS. There was no other experience to analyze and compare, and I did a mistake. And I'm telling you this now because there are claims that a new strain of SARS-CoV-2 may be more contagious than the original one. However, people should be more tolerable to it, and the existing vaccines should also affect it. Having said that, such statements are also made on the basis of previous experience, and we can't be sure that countries don't make the same mistakes again. Besides, I don't really get why the new strain was detected on December 14th, while they closed the borders and imposed stringent quarantine measures only on the 20th. Wasn't there a single security protocol in case this thing happened? Does this mean incompetence or giving it time to spread across other countries? Share it in the comments what you think about this, and I'm moving on to the final part. Bitcoin doesn't seem to have COVID-19, but the price already dropped to $21,800, which makes almost $2,200 or 9% drop in a single day. It actually is a good time to remember the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin, especially when they were collapsing last March together. That's just what I feel. The growth impulse hasn't lost its charge yet, but I think there's a chance for another move over 24K. The situation reminds me of the recent days from December 13th to 15th, when everyone was just shouting about the beginning of the correction, but instead we hit $20,000 and then hit a new all-time high. And the only argument that could trigger a Bitcoin drop, except for some market manipulation, is the S&P 500 behavior. If investors in the US stock market make a panic sale over a new coronavirus, Bitcoin would also collapse. But if the bulls hold their stock positions, then we could have more surprises for Bitcoin. I'm looking forward to your predictions in the comments. First of all, on the development of the new infection. And let me remind you that if you enjoy our videos, you can always support us with your engagement. Subscribe to the channel and check if you hit the bell. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.